Oh, there it is.
Gloria, and this is Inception Live. Oh, so you turned up.
And it's Brandon, and here
Right as we
are.
start.
Dramatic
I mean,
Bye.
Uh-oh,
this
she's
is
frozen.
Inception Live. Right, behave yourself, guys. Stop.
Okay.
I'm being professional, okay?
Right.
You know me. This is Inception Live. I have two guests tonight. Now we're all just crashing out. There we go. Did you see that?
Yeah, we were both cool with it, and we're laughing because you're frozen and we couldn't hear anything.
It was just me and
We're
him.
just laughing, and then you came back.
Do you
We're
know
like,
what I mean?
Pocahontas, just frozen.
Right, anyway, so, but the main guest tonight is to introduce it to my audience and to myself, the lovely Nick. Welcome, Nick, to the show.
Thank you. Very nice to be here.
Oh, bless you. And I did ask Brandon to be the appropriate adult, but we need to erase appropriate and just put an adult, you know, and this is where the show's going to go. And Brandon is not going to flip the show and take over or co-host, okay? Yeah, he will. I know he will. Right, let's go. Now we're settled and we're up and running. So, Brandon, if I cut out a bit, just keep going, and you, Nick, and vice versa, because it seems to be, you know, the energies are about. It's more likely that painting over there, but never mind. So, Nick, are you comfortable? Are you ready?
Yeah, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready as ever be.
Okay. No, seriously, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, sweetie pie. When I watched you on the other show where Brandon introduced you, I was fascinated by your perception of, if I use words that you don't use, like verbiage or things like that, I do apologize. Even though we both speak English, you're on that side of the universe and I'm on this. So we're in context. If you don't understand me, just let me know. Just say, Gloria, you're talking shit. Do you know what I mean?
Like, Nick, did you know that over in the UK they call bumper cars dodgems? Did you know
Yes.
this?
What?
Yeah,
Yes.
I just figured this out.
That's
here's
actually kind of cool.
what she means by this, because there's a bunch of different terminology.
Well, we do sometimes call them dodgems if we've been slightly Americanized. There are many words. Some are rude normally, but I'm not going to repeat them because you are under 18. There are many words. There is a different definition for, and if you've got a word with a different definition, you can lose the context of what the conversation is about. So I'm putting that out there. If you don't understand, say, could you, expand, or I didn't quite get that, Gloria, and I will just find other verbiage for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Right, so here we go. I have to ask you, Nick, what is your perception of this reality we're in now? How are you experiencing at such a beautiful age, 17?
Yes. Well, my perception, I would say, it's kind of complicated because I'm growing up, I'm being told these things, fed these, say, lies, and just not truths. People don't mean to lie, but it just kind of spreads around. And as I grow up and start to find out that everything's kind of faker than I thought it was, I don't really know how to view everything. It's kind of confusing. So I'm just kind of marinating in all this, letting it sink in until I get a good grasp of what's to come.
I'm with you. I mean, I go through intermittent periods, and I'm going through it now. Whenever I have some sort of paradigm shift or major conscious expansion experience, I go to this state that I'm in now. I don't even know what the fucking truth is anymore.
Right.
I constantly, I've been doing it for decades. You think I'd get over myself. So I do resonate with that. And you resonate with that sort of thing, don't you, Brandon?
Yes,
Did you speak or just say
yes? I definitely resonate with that as well. I mean, that's kind of the point that we're, I think, collectively at right now, because I have quite a few folks in the community, that I talk to, and we kind of mentor to each other and just be there for each other and things. And lately, everybody's been feeling this very heavy purging, is how we like to put it, right? Because if you say you're sitting in something, then you are. But if you say that you're bringing things to the surface so that therefore you can release them in a very healthy and mindful way, then that's the big difference in alchemizing the energy that we're all feeling right now.
Absolutely.
That's something I highly encourage everybody. Just, it's going to work out. What you're experiencing right now are things that can't go with you during this level up. And so it's just baggage. It's things that you're leaving behind that you don't need anymore because they're not welcome in the newer version of you, in the greater, grander version of you, right, Gloria?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So you see, off the get-go, here we go, Nick. We're all going through it. So it's not just yourself at your beautiful young age. I'm going through it. What was my truth like a couple of months ago? And going, it doesn't resonate no more. And it doesn't. And so what I do, I say, imagine you're in a tornado in that still space, 0 point. You stay in the neutral, in the 0 point, and just let it go. Let it go. So your confusion, I've got it. We've all got it. And anyone that says they haven't got it and they know the truth, then, goodbye. So anyway, apart from that, now I'm trying to make you feel really comfortable in the conversation. It doesn't matter that you're like 200 years younger than I or 500 years younger than Brandon. That's right. We're all at the time in the now. We're all going through this motion. So, but you have found something as you're deconstructing your reality, which is, that's a lie. That's not true. Oh, I thought it was. No, it wasn't. As you're deconstructing that, there is something that I heard on the other show, lucid dreaming and astral projection really interests you. So as I was watching you, for me, I'm a psychic medium, it doesn't mean it, but I read things. I could see there was your door into what we could label spirituality. That was your door in. I come through mediumship. Brandon come kicking and screaming, obviously.
He's just a teacher. He's just there to have fun.
Yeah, that's it. So please tell us your interests in lucid dreaming and astral projection, and what have you experienced?
All right. Well, lucid dreaming was kind of my way as like a kid to experience, I guess, like superpowers, because when I discovered lucid dreaming, I was like, wait, you're telling me I can control that and do whatever I want? And I was like, oh, hold on. That sounds super cool. And so I did a bunch of research, found out a bunch of different ways to induce it, such as like reality checks where you constantly do something in order to remember it better. Or
you know what? Hold on. I mean, I've got to expand within there. I've got to stop you there because that was just so interesting. You just fleetingly went past it. Let's start when you was a kid, younger. When you were younger, when you first experienced lucid dreaming. All right, let me help you out. When I first experienced lucid dreaming, it was like normal. You have your normal dreams, and then I remember responding, something come up and I went, I don't like it in the dream. And then I had I have a choice in the dream. So that's my basic, I've killed it, but that's a basic how I got in. And I had an awareness I had lucid dreaming, and I do lucid dream. However, I have never heard of a way to invoke it. Do go on.
Oh, well, and invoking a lucid dreaming is people can make it sound very complicated, but it's just a lot of one task. It's just repetitive.
Okay.
So with reality checks, I don't know if that's what it's called. It's just what I call it. For me, what I did, I just randomly throughout the day, multiple times, just poke my hand or do whatever task, and then just like look around, be like, okay, everything's real. And if you do that enough throughout the day, eventually, by instinct, you'll do it in your dream, and then you look around and be like, wait a minute, and that's how I first like pulled the lucid dream in.
Oh wow! Stop there, Brandon. So have you tried this, Brandon?
See, I don't dream, period, which is very interesting. I'm pretty sure I'm an NPC.
Well, don't worry, I will give you some counseling in a bit. Just stay there.
I'm fine with it. How I perceive it is that I'm too busy in the astral, and really what I'm doing is top secret missions that I can't know about.
Top secret.
That's the deal. I'm super, like, my life is boring here. I take a break here just to slum it on Earth for a little while because I'm so dope in the astral.
Are you trying to tell me you're a Men in Black in the astral world?
I'm not telling you that. How about that?
This might just be his way of coping with not dreaming.
Yeah,
it is.
I'm okay with it. I'm over it, obviously. Aliens don't want to talk to me. Ghosts don't want to show themselves in front of me. I don't dream, whatever. I'm fine with
it. I've heard him say this on other shows, but I would deal with him at one point. No, seriously. So what do you do? For anyone in the audience is going to watch it live or on the replay. So what do you do first? Come on, teach me.
All right. So first, just think of like just a normal everyday like easy task. It could be like a really easy thing is if you walk through a certain door in your house a lot,
Yeah,
every time you walk through that door, look around and make sure everything is normal and real.
yeah.
And then eventually you'll walk through that door in a dream. But that then you'd have to walk through the door in the dream. That's why I don't really suggest that a lot. But with reality checks,
Yeah.
I do the poking the hand thing. I'll randomly throughout the day just poke my hands, look around, and then let's say 30 minutes later do the same thing.
Okay. And you're saying that will happen in a dream?
Because eventually you'll do it so much it'll become an everyday task. Like, oh, I need to go brush my teeth, or oh, I need to do this. It'll just
I'm with you.
happen.
Okay, I've got that. Right, that's stored. That's stored somewhere in here because these questions are coming in now. So, you stated earlier on, because I do listen to you. You stated earlier on that you would, like Superman, superpowers. Now,
Yes.
I do recall when I was a child, like 200 years ago. I do recall I had superpowers, and I would play with. I had an elder brother, God bless his soul, and we'd be superheroes. Well, mostly it was cowboys and Indians, and I was always the Indian, and he always killed me. Bastard.
Oh.
Apart from that, we were superheroes. So, did you play imaginary superheroes first, and then got into lucid dreaming, or not?
Well,
I'm trying to pull out of you. How did that come about? How did they join together?
so first, I didn't just stumble upon lucid dreaming on the internet. It happened to me, and I questioned about it, and someone told me what it was. And what I'm pretty sure my first ever that I remember lucid dream, it was very short because lucidity can happen like for a short period of times or the whole dream. It depends. I was just walking around, and then it was a dream I had over and over again, a repetitive dream. And I looked around and I was like, this place looks familiar, but it's not. And then the like water slides were all weird, and I was like, this is a dream. And then I woke up and I was like, what was that?
Yeah, I'm with you. Brandon, I mean, I'm surprised you haven't tried it.
I think I'll just try normal dreaming first. You know what I mean? Like if I could just do that, that'd be pretty dope. I mean, I'm interested. Like I'm very interested. I mean, I do psychedelics and stuff. That's different. But it's like the closest thing I can do to altered state that I've found so far. But I'm not opposed to doing this. And the wake back to sleep method that Peter Whitley taught him and all that stuff, like that's something that's feasible, that's manageable. So I'll try it out. I'll keep a journal.
Yeah, I mean, there's no right or wrong. We're all going to experience this differently. I do know a couple of people that do not remember their dreams at all. They don't dream. They say they don't dream. I mean, but we all know we go somewhere. However, it's not wrong not to dream. I've got to say that. There's no judgment here.
Yeah, I bet I don't. I'm okay with it. Like it's not like I'm like, oh, I don't dream. That was just a joke. I'm totally fine with that. But it's I admittingly am very also well aware that I could have been abducted. I could dream all the time, and I could have encountered all kinds of stuff. Like I could be super dope friends with a Bigfoot. They just won't let me remember. I'm okay with that. Like if that's the case, then cool. There's a greater reason for it, right? But yeah, I'm fine with it. I really am.
I mean, I've got to add something there to Brandon, Nick. I've always thought, I know he has gone off with ET, and for his journey, he does his work and his downloads and his data sharing. He puts it out on his shows with the profound and deep inquiries he goes into with his guests. He's still doing it. Whether it doesn't matter if he resonates with that or not, it's my truth. So I just thought I'd throw that one in. And that's a segue for me to come to you and ask you, Nick, have you through the lucid, we are going to go back to lucid dreaming and astral projection. However, have you experienced what we call, I don't like the word abduction. I like contact. Okay. But if you want to use the word abduction, we can use it. It's just what resonates with me.
Contact sounds more professional.
Sounds more accurate.
Brandon,
Right?
you just be kicked to the curb
You have it.
by your nephew. No, have you experienced, or do you think you're not sure, but contact?
Well, there's one time where I kind of question it, but like I was just laying on my bed
Yeah.
and I was with a friend and I kept seeing these things out of the corner of my eye, like these two like figures like
Yeah.
standing like perpendicular, I don't know,
Yeah.
this way,
Yeah.
like to me, and every time I would look, I wouldn't see anything, and then from there till about like 3 hours later the next day, I don't remember what happened, and then but besides that, I have never really. I mean, I've looked at something in the sky. I'm like, oh, that was kind of weird, but I've never had any like, yes, that happened.
I'm with you. I'm with you. When you saw these two beings, from the profile view, side view, did their energy or their energy, did it affect you, your consciousness, your physical body in any way?
Not that I know of.
That's okay.
It was just kind of like, that was weird.
Yeah, okay. And then what did you say about the time afterwards?
The time afterwards, I was just what do you mean after that I saw that?
Yeah.
Well, it was just like the next day when I tried to like look back, I don't really remember what happened in this gap. Like I remember speaking to him about this and then this, but that was like a 2-hour gap.
Yeah, I'm with
and
you.
then everything in between is just a blank.
Ah, okay. Now that fascinates me, but it's not for me to put preconceived ideas in your head or anything else. I do have a group of experiences. They come in.
Oh,
but
you
anyway,
do?
Yes, I do. I do.
Ooh.
Yeah, I do. Moving on. So, and Brandon, you're going to say you haven't either, but
I'm going to say what? I have a what?
You haven't. You have no recall of contact, do you?
No, I don't. I'm sure of it, but they probably boot me out. I'm just asking a ton of questions, like how do y'all pee? Like where's the music? Like what do y'all listen to? What do you have M&Ms? You know, stuff like that.
Of course they do.
He doesn't do that. He would talk. He would do the same as he does with the guests on his show. Okay, profound, deep, and insightful questions. So stop.
I would ask some silly ones though. Because I do that on my show. You know, I just want to know dumb shit. I just love dumb shit.
I mean, everyone wants to know the dumb stuff.
I want to know what I asked Denise Stoner about hers was like, what did the UFO smell like? And she was like, I've never been asked that question before. I'm like, yeah, what did it smell like? And she was like atmospheric, like over.
Yeah, it is atmospheric. Yeah. It is. You know, I ask dumb questions all the time, and I'm one of the biggest arseholes out here at the moment because I don't know anything again. You know, but now you've posed a question to me. He's carefully switched it over and flipped it. It was atmospheric. I can't say that word. There was no smell. I don't recall any. My senses, but there was no.
Okay, then the question is, if you farted in a UFO, would you smell it?
Well, the physical body's not there, so I doubt it. I wouldn't fart, would I?
What do you think astral farts smell like?
I have no idea, Brandon.
See, that's what I'm here for. I bring the class, you know?
How do you know astral farts exist?
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, what's their energy? So if they're consuming something, it needs to go somewhere. And we know that.
Nick, shall I mute the appropriate adult?
I think you might have to at this point. We'll talk to you in about 30 minutes.
Now, I love humor, and I in my shows because it keeps the energy up, positive, high. The humor keeps it high because it's not that I don't take any of my guests seriously. I don't take life serious at all, but I take my guests serious. But I keep the humor going, I think, and it keeps everyone relaxed. And it just overexcites Brandon, but there you go. Never mind. So, Nick, I want to go to astral projection. Okay. I know about lucid dreaming because I do lucid dream, and most of the time I'm bored with this. I'm changing it, and that's what I do. One thing I don't do is take control. I have never, ever, ever, we'll talk about this later. If you know the clue to that, I need to speak to you. I hear people saying, you can go here, you can do that. And I'm going, how the fuck do you do that? Because I just go with the flow. I'm an observer. You know, I'm aware I'm dreaming and it's a dream. I can't control it. Now, but astral projection, I know I astral project. because I sort of floated out the window onto a crafty thing.
You just kind of sort of did. You just
You know, just through the water. Do and
an accident.
go off, and then I'm on this organic, conscious, alive being craft. So, but I haven't. It's never been in my mindset. It's just coming up now. I've never gone to how do I control that. So, going to astral projection. When did that happen to you? If it has happened to you, do answer.
It has not happened to me. That's why I was on the with Peter. I was trying to learn how to do it, and he taught me like steps. To get into it. I have attempted it a few times, but to no avail.
What happened? Your attempts. What happened?
So it was a lot of people, when you astral project, they say to sit up or lay down. It just depends on how you get comfortable, and I'm my most comfortable laying down flat. And so I just laid down and just concentrated and followed the detailed steps. I didn't follow them completely because it took a long time.
I can't be asked. I'm impatient. If it takes too long, I'm not doing it. I'm my worst enemy. But so you haven't. I hear. I know I have, because it's with multi-dimensional beings, whatever that is. I know. I've experienced. It's experiential, so I can't deny what I've experienced. So, okay then, Brandon, what information do you have about astral projection, if any?
Yeah, I like you alluded to earlier, the contact phenomena really can be more regarded as an astral, or your structural body and the light body. That's what they're really kind of tinkering with there, and it does have physical translations to the body, like implants, other things like health miracles, like they'll stop somebody's heart anemia or something like that, and then they're fine in their physical body. But if that's the case with astral projection, then it's interesting that one affects the other. So, these higher realm dimension things, this may be what downloads, and it may be your conduit to higher self is really all that you're kind of just peeling off of a layer, which anchors you to this reality. And then in that reality, you have this access to this other kind of existence or way of going about things. The other interesting part about astral is that it seems like you can go anywhere you want, but that there have been people, remote viewers and astral projectors, that have mentioned places they can't go, and like barriers in time, like they can only see to a certain point or go to a certain point, and that's it. And so that's an interesting thing too. It's kind of like a boundary. Like, yes, you can play in this environment, but you can only go so far. And I kind of have my own, other things like.
I'm one of them in remote viewing, and I said it on the show the other day. I was stopped psychically remote viewing. By another psychic energy. So, that is, I agree with that. I mean, so one would presume, because we have to have polarities here, it's going to be the same with astral projection, I would presume. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But yeah, it's a thought, something to think about. So you must have an interest, Nick, to do this, yeah?
Yes, very much. I really wanted. This sounds so cool to just like lay there and just fly away to wherever you want to. Like, why? I'm bored. I'm gonna go see the pyramids of Giza. Or
find some
whatever it is.
I get that. I mean, way back in the day, a couple hundred years ago, when I used to do proper remote viewing, I used to go places. It was, and I'd be floating on the ceiling. I was working on a cold case in a team, and I was in America, actually, by the way. I'm all the way to America. And it was just, I can't tell you, the experience was amazing. So I can resonate with that. However, I've got to ask you, lucid dreaming. I mean, this is my truth. So if it doesn't resonate, don't worry. For me, lucid dreaming, or, I'll go to astral projection in a minute. My truth is, I do not go into the conscious sleep state at night and astral project out. I am in the astral projection realms, and I astral project into this 3D. I come in here to have this. This is a unique experience. So I'm always out there. So I don't have an issue, whatever way anyone describes it. But there's another segue going in. When you're lucid dreaming, do you ever have the sort of like knowing I'm laying in my bed, or do you ever turn around or ever try to look for you, or just have you done that yet? Have you ever gone about?
I have not. With lucid dreaming, actually, I find it it can be very difficult to control. So
Yeah.
in my levels of I categorize lucid dreaming in like stages, different stages of
Yeah.
lucidity. Sometimes it can be like the awareness that this is a dream, but you can't fully comprehend it.
Yeah,
And it's just like I know this isn't real, but you don't really know what it is, all the way up to the point where like, yeah, I'm sleeping, but I never actually thought to look around for me. That's actually really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a suggestion. I remember one time, I mean, I tend to go through like bounce of it like a lot, and then it wears off a bit and a lot. Like, obviously, I need to do it now and again. I'm obviously out there searching for Brandon to wake him up, but there you go. And there was occasion where I'd, like you said earlier on, I was in the dream state, and I realized I was dreaming, lucid dreaming. I said, and I actually said, I'm bored with this, and I moved, and something else started, and I went back to the first one. I went, no, I'm not doing it again. I've told you, I'm bored with this. Was me and I think 4 times. And on the last experience, I went, I'm going to wake up now because I'm bored. And I come up, and it wasn't until a while later I thought, what the fuck was going on there? So I think I must have been learning something that I could do, if that makes sense with you. And you said earlier on you had repeated dreams.
Yes, I've had repeated dreams. It's a weird sensation to walk around and then look around and like know this place is familiar, but not to the real you.
Yeah.
And what makes it even like a big reason I think I have problems with, like, I guess I'd say the layered lucidity is most people I talk with, their dreams are mainly very tame. Mine are the opposite. Like I have like let's say in a dream I am a dad and I have a wife and kids. I will have pre-designated memories input, like, oh, I remember when I did this with my son years ago. It's like it's so I can follow the plot, and so it's hard to break through the plot of the dream to really be able to understand it's a dream.
You've really opened the door there.
Yeah.
You've really opened the door for me there, because I resonate with that. Sorry, Brandon, I know you don't, but there you go. Tonight, I'm going to come looking for you, right? So in one of your dreams, your lucid dreams, you're playing a role. Am I correct?
Yes, usually.
Yeah, you're usually playing the role. Okay. I've experienced myself. We've all got to use labels. Some people say you're not supposed to use any labels and love and light, and I just go fuck off. I'm using labels so we can all understand the context of the conversation. We're still here. We're still playing the game. Let's have fun. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. I have an awareness because I've experienced me on another timeline. So to me, I come from self-realization. So all things at all times, all places. You can call it past lives, but it's all happening now. So it's all going on now. Yeah. And for me, that realm, what you call the astral realm or the lucid dreaming, or even the dreaming, is just another timeline. We're going in, learning new skills or getting information, and at the same time, pulling it all back to 0 point for this timeline we're experiencing now. How does that resonate with you at all?
That is, I don't know. That's very difficult to put into perspective and to talk about, because I never really thought about anything in that sense that way. I never really thought about the. You said you could categorize it as the astral world or the lucid dream. I never really thought that they would be on the same like mesh. I've always kind of pictured it as separate areas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's okay. I mean, there's no right or wrong. And everyone knows my analogy. My analogy is I have an orange and I'm going to cut it in half. I'm not giving none to Brandon. I'm going to give half of it to you, and I'm going to have half. Me and you, Nick, are experiencing eating an orange. However, we are going to experience it so totally different. You may go,
Yes.
ugh, it's sour. And I go, no, it's not. It's sweet. So it's our perception. So we're all experiencing the same experience, but from a different perception, slightly. And that should resonate with you because you've said in your lucid dreams, it's slightly different each time. Like you're experiencing the same being human, slightly different, slightly different.
Yes.
Does that resonate with you now?
Yes, it does. With dreams, it's very confusing, like the plot, because like when I'm in the dream itself, I can look around, of course, and be like, all right, that is a door frame, that is a camera. But when I think and remember what it looked like, all I see is just like morphed and blurs, but I can like remember what I thought it looked like. They don't make any sense, really.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Eventually it does make sense. Trust me.
That's a super interesting point, though, because really then what you're saying is just any mass blob of anything, matter, energy, light, whatever, your mind will then just automatically assign it a delineation, based on other delineations your mind also made. So like, let's say that the first object that you come across whenever you're lucid dreaming is like a figure and you think it's a person. All of a sudden it'll be someone it'll be in a room full of other people, it'll be in an environment that you associate those people with. And so it forms based on like your idea of it, like what it should look like, which is really interesting. Because then at that point, what that tells me is why lucid dreaming exists at all is because it's that way. Because then all you have to do is just think of anything you want, and that's what will materialize out of these, basically like amorphous options. You know what I mean? It's just like this energy center that'll be whatever you want. And then there it is, whatever you want it to be.
I think that's a good analogy. I want to jump in. I always interrupt. So does Brandon. So don't worry about it, Nick. It's what old people do.
So as I was saying, it's kind of like
interesting the way you put that.
Yeah. So it's like this environment that you're in, more than like a realm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a good analogy. And one thing me and Brandon do, we speculate a lot and we throw ideas out because no one knows. Okay, not even me.
Prove me wrong, bro.
We may be God, but who knows? Anyway,
cool.
But what that because I look at that and I'm going to try and. Have you ever? Oh, this sounds really like. Have you heard of quantum physics?
Vaguely, yes.
I don't. Well, anyway. How can I put this? Change it. So I liked what you said. The bit that really got me was you'd have the lucid dream, you was aware, you were slightly different, and you'd experience things, and then later on you try to recall that and it was a blur.
Yeah, it's hard to picture what it looked like, but I remember what it was.
Yeah, exactly. Now, why I'm coming with that, and Brandon actually is getting a bit too psychic lately because he came in before me and sort of touched upon it, so I slapped to Brandon. No talking in class, Brandon, until you're teacher. Okay? He does it a lot lately, gets in my head. You must hear all of us go on saying we manifest our reality. What you thought, emotion, we create whatever we experience. Okay, so if we put like negative vibrations out, a victim, negative Nelly, then we're going to attract all the negative. You know that, yeah. But also quantum physics as giving it runs parallel with that expression. We create our reality. Now, one thing quantum physics, how it supports the manifestation is the double split theory. So have you heard of that?
I have not.
That's fine. It's fine. When you get time, just go on YouTube and watch Dr.
Do you want me to run it down for you real quick, Nick?
Yeah, Dr.
Or is that okay?
Yeah, cool. Just do it.
You run it?
You have my permission, but you haven't called me ma'am in a while, so I don't know.
Yes, ma'am.
He should have raised his hand.
Do you know what I mean? Oh, look, get him in trouble. Look at you, get you. It's called Dr. Quantum, and it's like quantum physics for kids. If you want to get into quantum physics and get the basic layman grasp, you need to watch Dr. Quantum a few times. And there's a thing called the double split theory and all that. And you learn that matter is created when the observer observes it. Okay. So you've got a wave of energy, and when the observer goes on it, it turns into a particle. which is a matter construct, okay? And this 3D reality is set in like a structure. So it's set as a foundation. So we come in and it will always be there. You'll be able to remember talking to me tomorrow because it's in the structure, how we connect, okay? So going back to what you said, I'm going to try my best to get this out. When you're in your lucid dreaming state and you experience something, and Brandon rightly before me said you're manifesting whatever you wish to manifest. You're manifesting your reality. Yes, you are. But let's say and use terminologies, labels in a different timeline or a different dimension. When you come back here and you go to visualize it, it's blurred. It's gone back to the wave. It's no longer the particle. Did you get that? Did you understand?
Yes.
So how does that resonate with you? Why you can't really get the picture back?
Well, I feel like, well, first I'm gonna just bounce off of what Brandon said to help me go on with it. When he was saying you could like just manifest it based off because they're just blobs, but they're what you want to appear them to be. Well, that makes a lot of sense because I guess different studies have shown like there's tons of people in your dreams. Like you can be walking down a street and just people walking by, you just don't pay attention to them. Well, your mind, what it does, it takes like from the hundreds of people you see a day and creates these people in such detail. When they're not even real, and and when it's all actually just a blob, it's just telling your mind. It's like when you get like a weird twitch and your arm moves, it's telling your mind to see this even when you aren't trying to see it.
Good. It's interesting. It's
know
good.
what this makes me think about though is like maybe the astral is another higher dimension that we're the same things or have the same options. It's just in that one we can create in that way, like with our mind and everything. Now maybe that's scalable down to here, because if your astral body is what's doing all of that and that's an environment in which that can occur, then maybe whenever you come back into your body or drop back down into the third dimension, it's the same thing. It just works on a more slow basis. Like it works with an echo, like Bashar talks about. So maybe you still have the same powers of manifesting things. And we talk about like your world being a mirror to you and, you know, the manifestation powers. I wonder how well astral projectors are and lucid dreamers are at manifestation. You know, and I've coupled this, you know, Nick and I have talked about, you know, I recommend for you, Nick, a strong meditation practice, just whatever it is. And so that you can train your mind to be extremely focused and vigilant, because then you can create better in a place where your mind creates. And then perhaps that'll translate down here to your third dimension experience, where now you're creating a better life for yourself based on these understanding. It's just kind of like a way of going about it. Yeah.
And you've done it again. You've touched upon what I was just about to say, and you need to stop.
I real quick, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. Maxie and Christy and Donna, what's up? Good to see everybody.
What? You can see
Isn't
the chat?
he lovely? Isn't he lovely, my
Where's the chat at?
In the upper right. Good. There's
upper
private
right
chat
corner.
that
Can
you're
you see it?
Yeah. Go to comments.
The ones in the group, they're out of my group. I have a private group.
Oh,
hi
and
everybody.
They're in tonight because and they're gonna. I asked them to leave comments. I told them all about you, Nick, coming in, and they've been in my group for their experiences. They're coming in with their experiences that are escalating, and they're very happy to see a young person step up like yourself and be the forerunner of the next generation.
I'm glad to do it. No one's gonna do it. I gotta step up. That's my pleasure.
You gotta, and you overshadow him down there. Brandon, keep muted for a minute. Brandon touched upon something about how when we go there and it's different and maybe not so strong. Let me tell you something that's my truth, Nick. It doesn't have to resonate with you, okay, sweetie? It's just my experiential truth. The beings that I paint and that I go with and communicate and co-create with, when they wish to manifest, they manifest very similar to the way Brandon said at the beginning. They think it's there. There's no meditation. There's no nothing. It's spontaneous. It's just, and when the being who you are that's going off, when you're out there doing your thing, it's your being doing that. And then we come into this one and we're limited and let me fucking out of here. You know, I want to be Superman. You know what I mean? But each time that happens, that's how they do that. And that's how they come, whatever terminologies you would like, whether they come through timelines or dimensions or veil, they come through walls. It's quantum physics. Yeah. They turn a wall. I've seen them come through the wall. And the wall goes, the atmosphere changes, and it's a wave. And then when they're gone, it's a particle. So, you know, does that give you a greater interest or anything? You know, what do you think about it?
It definitely does. That does go really well along with what Brandon said, and it sparked something in my head with what he said as well. How like people always ask like, oh, if like the second dimension is just like you can only move on this plane, but like the third dimension is you can move in this three-dimensional plane, then what is the fourth dimension? And I think what he said is very plausible and would probably be like the closest to what's true, is where when you're lucid dreaming, you're on this like your, I guess, astral body, you're in this separate plane where you can control and do whatever you want. I forgot what the word y'all used was, but manipulate was not the word I was going to use, but it works too.
It's a very negative word, Nick. Don't use it. Yeah, you can manifest. You can
manifest. That's the word. Manifest. You can manifest what you want in front of you, but when you're in the third dimension, you're like kind of stuck in this like a flesh body.
You can manifest. I do it all the time. And millions do. You can, but
it's just restricted.
It's frustrating because there's a process. Well, at the beginning, there's always a process, and then you can manifest just like that, just like the beings do. You can. However, Nick, are you aware there's not just a fourth, there's a fifth dimension? We're labeling here, guys, a sixth, a seventh. You can go higher and higher, and you can, and you do. We don't always recall. Sometimes we get something, but go.
If I just find it kind of crazy, it's like death. Like most people can't fathom death because our minds are so sentient. Just thinking about nothing is just not possible. So when you're thinking of a higher dimension, like what is more complex than a 3D object that has depth, mass, weight? It like when light, I mean, gravity can mess with light and stuff. And how does that kind of stuff work? And fourth, and if you go further than like the fifth and sixth, how does it get even higher?
I mean, you know, it's all about perception of the observer. Okay, the perception. Wayne Dyer 101, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Your perception changes. Okay. So it's through perception. You know, like people say, as they go along this spiritual journey, you know, like even Brandon will say, if you go back 10 years, his perception of what was real and not real, or what was true or untrue, has changed because his perception has changed. Yourself, when you started to say, that's not true, your perception, which is the observer, the one observing through the physical eyes, it's perception. So as you do the work, I mean, we do call it the dark night of the soul. I don't. I call it the dark night of the whole of my fucking experience. However, some people are lucky. They get it one night. As you do the work on all the belief systems, you know, you're stupid, you're an idiot, your father hated you and you're traumatized, you're a victim, you're taking antipsychotic drugs. And as you start to say, that's not my belief, that's not true, that's not who I am. And as you start it is your actual observational perception that shifts, not Gloria or Brandon or you, it's the perception. So imagine the realm you're in now, what your perception at such a mature age, okay? Because you can drive a car now in America, but not here in the UK. Your perception shifted to a higher perception, which we could go energetically and through quantum physics say your vibrations elevated. It's oscillating. And then you have an experience and you work with that, and whatever needs to be done on that experience, you go, and then you go. So it's consciousness, or your spirit, whatever you choose to call your being, is in constant creation, constant flux. It's eternal because it's source. It never stops. Does that resonate with you, to answer your question?
Yes, just not like fully, because I'm still in like the whole like what if, and like, because I
Yeah,
mean,
I
if we
know.
have the laws of physics here, then how will they work up
Okay.
there?
Okay.
It's
All
just all this.
right. Okay. Howard, all right, we got to do this one. If I can assist in any way, I will.
Mhm.
How do the laws of physics work? So that is what I would say. It's a condition that we come into 3D reality, and we have to, when we're playing the role of the limited being, we have to conform to Newtonian laws of physics. Okay, we just have to do it because we're in that matrix. When you're in your lucid dreaming, you're in another universal law of physics. Okay, it's different. It's not the same. So what happens is, when we're going through our journey, as say you're young, so it's different, and you're quite alert and awake. Me and Brandon, going through our journey. Oh, fuck it, let's do the drug, let's do the drink. I hate it, I want to die. We're causing havoc everywhere because we are stuck and we believe it is real. We believe everyone's oppressing us. That's where you come in. That's the normal experience that we've come to experience. And then as we start to go, oh, no, that's not true. No. And what happens then, the cells of our physical body, start to vibrate at a different, quantum physics, at a different frequency. I'm really trying to make this as layman's as I can. So what happens then, as your frequency in your physical vehicle, this being, as it starts to oscillate at a different frequency, and it's not just the consciousness within the brain organ that expands, the whole being has to go with it. And we do have issues there because sometimes the body doesn't catch the fuck up and you get a lot of illnesses as you're going. Okay. It's a bit of a vroom vroom, as if like G-force, I suppose, really, if you can. So that's how it happens. And when you go, for example, when if I go off to a contact, my perception, I don't even have a human perception anymore. It doesn't even come into my mindset. I do not have the 3D human perception of Newtonian laws. They don't exist. They're not there. That's the same as you in lucid dreaming. Did I do it all right there? Did you get it?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Thank God for that. So if you have a thought, well, we can't do it. Well, how do you do it? Because of 3D, Newtonian laws. There's your block. There's your block. It's a belief. There's a belief. However, I've got to, put a caveat in there. Until you can get an intellectual understanding, where we all start, but it's when you have the experiential experience of it, that block is totally gone. But it will unblock if you have an intellectual understanding. Well, okay, it can happen because Newtonian laws don't exist there. If you just keep putting that in, then you'll get an experiential when it becomes a knowing. So you can actually, you are really a super being. You go off to your dream state, to your astral realm, and you don't follow any Newtonian laws ever. And that's why, sweetie pie, that none of the structures you can recall, it's not back into the 3D. Okay. But when you raise the frequency and you go, say, in a craft or wherever you go, the experience, it's I can't say atmospheric or whatever it is.
Atmospheric.
Because thank you.
Show off.
It's because my cells and other experiences are already oscillating at that frequency, we can recall it in and hold it in. Does that help you? Yeah?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Brandon, you've been quiet for too long. Yes, ma'am. Anything to say on that?
Yeah, I mean, it makes complete sense when you look at it that way, because it is a mindset shift. And so therefore, when you're afforded a new environment that presents itself with those options for you, then your mindset must shift to even wrap your own mind around that your mind can do that now.
Yeah.
Or that's an option available for you to experience in this moment. And so whenever you talk about like quantum physics in this is what's so interesting about the double slit experiment, Nick, is that when that occurred, man, they had basically, so just to run you through it, they fired electrons through a plate with 2 slits in it to a screen on the back. On the back of the screen, through the plate with the 2 slits, they expected to see 2 slits worth of electrons stuck to that screen, right? Because those were the options for that electron to go
I know
through.
what this is, actually. I learned about that in class. That's weird.
Well, good. I'm glad they're teaching it to you, because it's like one of my, linchpins on consensus reality is this exact concept. So whenever they looked at it, they expected to find that, but they didn't. They found a wave pattern. And what happens, like when you drop a rock into water or whatever, and that wave ripples out, that's what they found. But they found it going in through 2 slits, so there was an interference pattern there. So what that meant is 2 objects were dropped in the water at the same time, where the waves crest and trough. Where they crest at, that's an interference pattern, and so it creates a blank space anyway. So this is a wave formation, not a particle. So they were like, oh, well, everything is a wave. Well, when somebody looked at it, it did the 2 slits. When they ran the experiment again, they put a camera on it and observed it. And just by the fact that someone was paying attention to what it was doing, it did what the scientists expected it to do, not what it did the first time. So what this tells us is that you can change anything just based on how you expect it to go. Another linchpin in this idea is the placebo effect. So placebos, of course, are given, let's say, you know what a placebo is, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say that the person giving the placebo, if Nurse Gloria over here is like, okay, I'm going to give you this shot and it's going to be super effective for you and heal all the things that you need it to, but it's absolutely a placebo, but she knows it'll affect the outcome of the study. So if neither one know it and both give it, one receives, one gives, thinking that there's something legit in there, it works 100% of the time, which now you have 2 people, or very high percentage of the time. So what these 2 things tell you as to what Gloria is talking about is that this is the way in which you can create everything around here. And so it's just like, even Einstein said it, reality is an illusion, albeit a persistent one. So the thoughts that you can go into this realm where you can manipulate reality in this way, where you see it's possible there, I think it's kind of y'all's job, those of you who can do this, to bring that idea here and to create that world here and to bring that option of reality into this one by raising all of us. So basically you're grabbing those 2 realities and fusing them together. And so in this way, maybe that's how we all ascend back to source. Because whenever I think of ascension or experience, whatever, maybe it's not a trickle down. Maybe you didn't come here from from each level. Maybe you were flicked out from the top level all the way to the bottom and forgot everything. And you've just got to reverse Plinko your way back up. And maybe you do this by collapsing all realities into one by the realization of the connectivity between them all. Perhaps this is just an idea I've been playing.
I love it. I love it. I resonate with that as well. Is that sort of resonating with you? I know it's a lot.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping that
he's got this. We talk about shit like this all the time. He spends summers with us. That's why that's where he was whenever he did this. Is he comes out to the ranch with my wife and I for the summer, and this is the only kind of conversations we have. So he is very much primed for this.
I mean, for me, quantum physics was the major one to allow me to understand my contact and going where I went. And, them coming through the walls and me going out and floating over the tree, when I did recall it. And because that was like, this can't fucking happen, but quantum physics did it. And it was, I started with Dr. Quantum because it was simple, just simple. And it was a visual. I'm a visual learner. I'm an artist. And then it just light bulbs, one after the other. And then I understood how I could, and also I'm what you call a medium. So, talk to dead people. They don't like to be called dead, but I'm doing it. I always add that.
What do they like to be called?
They're spirits, they're
living challenged.
Livingly challenged.
Because, and why? And it is because this is a hard thing to swallow. We let's use this terminology. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Okay. Does that resonate with you at all, Nick? Yeah, right. Okay. So what I do in the groups I teach, this is another one, is I say, okay, this is why they don't like to be called dead, by the way. Trust me, they forcibly got me to be aware of that. Is right. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. I'm here to have a human experience. We're going to deconstruct that. What does it mean? That means basically I'm not a human being. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. So the human doesn't exist. That's the core. In self-realization, and what it's the sort of truth that I come from. It's the same principle. And you'll hear those that are self-realized, that are aware, say, my identity doesn't actually exist. I've come in and I've got this on, so I can't die. So the spirit world, no, there is no death, because there is no death. Duh. And quantum physics also brings that in as well. Have I made sense to you, Nick?
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, it does make sense. Especially with the when the whole manifesting your reality part plays into it. I used to just be so like not like against it, but I was like rejecting of it, and I was like, well, if I could manifest my reality, I wouldn't be dealing with this right now. Like,
I remember
but then
that,
as time went on, I started to speaking of like strengthening your mind, I used to be on ADHD medication, and just about 3 months ago, I made the decision to get off of it, which is extremely difficult.
Yes.
And because my mind's always like, even now it is, I'm just able to control it more, which actually does help with like lucid dreaming and stuff.
Yeah.
But as I started to like kind of strengthen my mind more and have, I guess, a more positive outlook on life, and the more I just blew certain stuff over, I'm like, oh, I'll get over it. The more positive my life came to be, and I used to had a lot more fun.
Yes.
More like.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've got to jump in there as well. My beautiful, lovely son, Canning MC, who I love to bits. He manipulates me. He's a little shit. However, I love him. He was at 5, very awkward, and he was diagnosed with ADHD, and they tried to do all that and medicate. And me being me, I said no. And I worked with him. I went to therapy, how to deal with an ADHD child, and I was given that. And I worked with him, and he's never took the medication. And the label ADHD, and I said, he's got it tattooed, ADHD. He knows it's a label. And I don't know what you were like, but he's highly spiritual, highly. If he's experienced, I think everything I've experienced is obviously it's in the genome. It goes back to my family. However, he had restrictions because, and I remember, and this is why I have child that's got the diagnosis ADHD, I had the utmost respect for, because he perceived things differently. His perception was the major one. He was bored. He didn't fit into this reality. Does this resonate with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. He had no sort of, he couldn't put his focus or his attention on anything. He is highly intelligent. And I found a way for it to work through was he loved creating video games and playing. Did you do the video games? Did you play?
Yes, I did. That was a big way for me to kind of let loose and help. I actually went into I almost went into developing it, but then I got slowed down and my interest kind of popped off.
Yeah, he nearly went into developing, but he had a love of music. He's musical like me, and now he's an MC. He raps naughty words. Mother doesn't listen. She does listen. So I now you've said that, I have a greater awareness of why you're doing what you're doing, because for me, if someone's labeled ADHD, then they're the next generation, because they will come in. I don't belong here. Hello, what I mean? I don't belong here. This is not right, and I'm not doing it. And fuck it. My son would walk out of education. He got high grades, science. He was like, but he'd walk out. I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm bored. And he was looking for stimulation, and he didn't fit in. And as he matured and got older, then he started to, realize who he was. And he's still a little shit and doesn't hit him, but there you go. So does that resonate with you? His way?
Yes, it does. I feel like ADHD isn't always, well, it is in ways a downside, but in other ways it can be an upside too, because some people might find the hyperactivity I guess not like a need for attention sometimes, but at the same time you can make the room and atmosphere and mood more lively by just kind of like being bombastic and out there. Then the mood will overwhelm everyone else and get everyone back into it.
I mean, he never slept. He had me up all night, every night, doing weird things. He used to jump off roofs, and anyway, apart from that,
Kid things.
A bit aggressive, I would say. But he'll light up any room when his energy. If his energy comes in a room, and I've always said to him, "You're my spiritual warrior. You're my spiritual warrior." And so all children with that have been labelled, it's just a label. Don't worry about it. And for me, I recognise the next generation. They're here because they reject the education, the politics, the system. And they're trying to break it down and deconstruct it. And because they're young, they haven't got the maturity and the discernment quite yet how to play this. It's a new game. So they're coming into the new game. And, Brandon, would you agree that Nick, I don't want to label Nick, but would you agree that resonates with me?
Yeah, we've talked about it. Like this is the 3 generations Gloria Canning. What's her name? Not Gloria Canning. Denise. Come on. Anyway, Dolores Cannon. Jesus Christ, what was I doing? I just brain farted hard. Thinking about UFO farts. Okay, so it's like the Dolores Cannon thing. This is the 3 generations right here, the 3 waves. And Nick is the final wave. And what's so cool about this is so interested, how much he took to it, how obvious the systems in play are here to him, and it's just fascinating just to kind of watch him grow. Because I mean, just watching him for a few years here go from this is kind of cool to holy shit and be very, very into it and really make some amazing strides. He asks phenomenal questions. Like he's got that locked down, and so I'm excited to see it. It's really cool. We're just paving the way for him. Like we've done a lot of work hacking through the woods for you guys.
Oh my gosh,
it's time for you to pick up the axe and continue.
Brandon, I can imagine what a godsend Brandon must be. I had to work with my son. I had to work with my son. He's 23. And it was a learning curve for me, and like I kept saying, remember, you agreed to do this. Remember. And but it's for me, I see the being inside. I do in everybody, you, Brandon, even though sometimes Brandon does get me, but there you go. I forget he's a divine being, and then I can cuss him and swear at him because I like to do that anyway. But it's as I was working with him to understand him, I was becoming and having a greater awareness of the 3rd wave. Does that make sense? So I was ready, and I went, and what did I do? My career was in crime, not a criminal. I went and worked in the youth justice system, victims of serious crime. I had boxing clubs for the most deprived areas. I started working with the young ones that all had the labels on them, but I wouldn't have been able to facilitate that if I hadn't. I needed to have, in my experience, an opening up to the 3rd wave of children, and it just happened to be one of them was mine. And it was hell. I just want you to know that it was hell.
I can imagine for my parents too. Oh my gosh, I wouldn't want to deal with me either.
I mean, and I got to say, anyone out there, I want to say this to anyone that has a child that has been labeled with ADHD. I was blessed by, I was given a book, and it's called Only a Mother Could Love Him. And it is written by, at the time, and sort of adult, of his experience and how for the rest of society to understand children that have a different perception like this. And in the end, it went into the school, and every teacher had to read this book. So they had a better awareness of children coming in. So it's really out there now. But I know we've digressed, but it was an important point, I think, that needed to be raised. So people can stop judging children with ADHD, and change your perception.
Yeah, I'll say stop judging and start listening to.
Listening.
That's where it is. They're here to build the new world, and you guys are not helping anything by clinging desperately to a broken one. So
I totally agree. I mean, my son now just manifests anything. I mean, I'm serious. I'm not going to go into it. I mean, physical things. He thinks I would like that, and then shit. He's got, Mum, look what turned up outside the door. And I go, yo, how comes he's better than me? I've been fucking doing this for decades. Do you know what I mean? I've gone through the program, but you guys, you've come, and that's because it's the first wave, the second wave, let's call it, we'll stay to this analogy, was preparing the way, seeding and preparing the way. And I think it's beautiful. And this is why I'm highly interested in young people like yourself that are coming through, and your spiritual journey is going to be nothing like all the billions of books. You don't need the books. You don't need to watch.
Yeah, Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon.
Because we've read them for you, and so we can tell you what they said.
Yeah,
so we got you. We know that you can't focus on it, and that's okay. That's fine. That's not your strength, and you have other strengths that we want you to put your energy into. So we spend the time reading the book, so we can tell you the Cliff Notes version.
Hasn't he got an answer for everything? Do you know what I mean?
I feel like he's like, as we're talking, he's like writing down potential answers. He's just like reading off of a notebook.
Yeah, I've got a list here. It's 3 things, and that's all I've said, and I've been right on every single one of them.
No, he's been doing really well. I mean, the show is yours, Nick, and Brandon's here as an appropriate, sensible, reliable adult.
Bit of a good label for him.
They call down a little bit. They call bumper cars Dodgems over there, dude. Isn't that wild?
Yes, they're Dodgem cars, okay?
Yeah, but what that means to me, Gloria, this is why that's interesting to me, okay? And Ben Rosenberg, the guy that you contacted that I told you to get on, he's been on my show. He's awesome. You're going to love him. He reached out and said, I've got a panel show with him coming up. Anyway, he reached out and said that you contacted him. Thank you for doing that. But this guy's the guy that told me that. And what I was thinking about it is this is so telling of our cultures, right? Yeah. So over there, you guys have these fortified cars with the little bumpers around them with the poles that go up and electrify them. They're the same damn thing. Yeah. But you guys spend the entire time that you're on the ride avoiding hitting one another. Now in America, we call them bumper cars.
Really?
Yeah, and because they're called Dodgems, so they dodge each other.
Y'all avoid? That's boring.
This is what I'm saying. And then
not every child does that. Because when I was on the Dodgem cars, especially with my brother, if we didn't like somebody, we ate.
Look at the comment. Thank you, Donna. You're absolutely right. Now, what's interesting is in America, they're called bumper cars, and that's what we do with them. We bump into people. We will knock you so hard that your kid sitting next to you crying, his drink falls over, and then we laugh about it later. That's the American way. Now, what's so interesting about this is if you could go over there, Nick, then you'd have all these red coats. No, run away. And you just stomp, dude. You know, you'd get deported because they don't do that.
Boom,
but then over here, same thing. You, Gloria, would come over here and get your ass handed to you. We don't want that.
You stop badassing my UK little poxy island.
I love your comment section, by the way. Thank you, guys.
These guys are all out my groups. I told them about Nick to come and support him.
I just think that's interesting, Nick. This is what's interesting. Is there Dodgems over there?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Yeah, go on, go.
So, our French fries or your chips, what are potato chips?
Yeah, what do y'all call chips?
Crisps. Potato chips.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have a crisp.
We have been introduced to French fries a good few years ago, but they're really chips. We say, I fancy fish and chips. Or I fancy a bag of crisps. But we're aware of your Americanized terminology of French fries, even though you're American and you say French. And I want you to know.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I'm Irish. Potatoes are Irish. We own them, all right? So stop there. No, we do have different terminologies. You've still got a detention, Donna. Just know it, all right? I give it to the class because I can't slap them virtually. Do you know what I mean?
Do you have a digital dunce hat that you put on them that you can hover over their little window and put little dunce hat? Do you guys, what do y'all call dunce hats in the UK? Do y'all do that?
No, they're banned. My career was in child protection. That's child abuse. No way. That's child abuse.
But being a dunce is abuse for everyone that you come in contact if that behavior is not corrected at a young age. And we're not talking about like fit in, do what you're told behavior, just like some simple things. You know what I mean? You need to be like publicly shamed for.
Oh, do you hear what Donna said? If I start on them, we just mute Gloria. Yeah.
Can we do that? Hang on. Do you want to make me a co-host? Anyway, yes.
Don't give it to him. Don't do it. You'll regret it.
Anyway, come on. You come with your questions, Nick. We've done quite a few areas. So I always say, you know, when I teach in the group, what is your greatest excitement? Wherever you are, it doesn't have to be what anyone else thinks. Okay. What are you excited to learn more about, to do? I mean, I do grant wishes and they do come true in the group. Trust me, they'll all tell you. But you got to find your, you know, and watch how you say it. It's called spell casting. What is your interest? What is your excitement, desire that you're interested in? Share it with me and the oldies, me and Brandon.
Or he's 16. Right now it's girls. That's it.
What about
17, sir?
Well, he's 17, even worse.
Oh, he's so
another year where it's been all
childish.
about girls, and now it's even more about girls.
No, come on the topic. I know it's girls, darling. You know, Brandon can't get him off his head. But apart from those, in what we spoke about tonight, we've done astral projection, we've done ET, we've done all that. Is there any questions you want to throw out? Because Brandon gets a lot of knowledge from his guests.
Yes. So, you said you've had you asked me about like an abduction experience or no contact. My apologies. What are your contact experiences? I've never actually talked to someone about this before personally.
Oh shit! He's just flipped the show, Brandon. He's just flipped.
I know. Yeah. We didn't even talk about this beforehand. Nice job, Nick.
I'll share one. I only share a couple. I don't go into all of them because for me the actual contact is not the priority. It's how did the contact affect my consciousness, my world, my being. So, you know, if I met Brandon in a pub, Mr. Negative Nelly, I would feel depressed and want to commit suicide. So that's how that experience affected me.
Damn.
Okay. So I will share one that I share commonly because I have a few. I don't go into all of it. It's not what I'm about. I was a teenager, a couple of years younger than you, and I was in my mother's front room. The guys in the group know this one. And I was ironing my school uniform, and I was facing one of the walls in my mother's front room. And my mother used to have the most disgusting, despicable wallpaper ever. It was like paisley and orange, and it was
no.
Yeah, I think it was something like the 60s or whatever. I don't know what. And it was foul. Anyway, and I was just ironing. And as I was ironing, all of a sudden, I can't explain it. The atmosphere started to change. And I've always said it reminds me of in UK years ago when you were younger, if you went to the dentist to have anything done, a tooth extracted or baby teeth out, they'd put a big black mask on you, like a gas mask.
Like laugh gas?
Yeah. And you'd get this before you lost consciousness. Oh. So it was a bit like that. And then I noticed as my hand had the iron, time was slowing in my reality. And I was observing me and I was going, wow. Everything was in slowing down. So it wasn't accelerating, which is something to note. The vibration was slowing down.
Interesting.
And at the same time, I had an urge to look to my mother's disgusting wallpaper. And I saw, first of all, two big black almond eyes come first. But this state, this atmosphere, and I was calm. And then one come through and looked. Then the second one come and looked. And then I saw the third one. There were 3 days. They weren't the robot ones. Later on, I learned.
What? There's robot ones?
Yeah, hold on a minute. Just stop. Later on, I learned they were greys. I didn't know they were greys at the time. I just thought they were weird-looking dead people because I didn't have UFO and ET in my consciousness at the time. And then the 3 come through, and next thing I know, a couple of hours later, I'm sitting on my mother's sofa. That was the experience. How did that affect me, my consciousness? I realized that the reality I was fighting with, that I couldn't fit in, wasn't real. It didn't exist because I'd seen these beings do that. I didn't even remember I had missing time at that point. That was other experiences. So that's one of them. I've never had a traumatic or negative experience ever. So I know some people do experience that, but my perception, I don't. But every time I had a contact, it shifted my reality. Every time I would then get an excitement to go and learn something else, an excitement to go and do that. And I was an artist as well. So I was very creative at the time. So yeah, that's one of them. It's until you experience it, it's a really, what can I say? I will add though, because when you shared your experience earlier on, I was smiling because it resonated. And I'm going to give you another one, see if you can make the connection. One, I was about 5 years old, and this is where it was witnessed. And I'm from London, and I'd come out of school, and every day I had a very strict mother. She really was a psychopathic child torturer, basically. That was her role. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And, I was a baby, and there was 3 siblings above me. So I'd come out at school, 5 years old, and I was obedient. You had to be obedient. And my second eldest sister would come from her secondary, the upper school, and collect me and take me home. This is London, so, you know. And I remember walking down the park, and what I never forget that day, there was a little boy, I think he was called David. He was about 5, and he tried to lift my skirt up to see my knickers. And I never forget it. I don't miss it. But it's something that stuck with me. It was weird. And I think I hit him, actually. I'm sure I must have face planted. I was a bit, you know, the Irish in me at that point. And I stood by old Victorian schools back in the day, and I stood by the wall. So it's about 3-ish or whatever it was. And I waited for my second eldest sister. I remember, like you, but it was on my left, seeing a side profile on the left at 5. And then next thing I know, I'm at the wall. It's pitch black. There were police. There's family members. Everyone's been looking for me and screaming. And I got the shit beat out of me by my mother, who wouldn't believe me. I did nothing wrong. So I had
sucks.
Missing time. Yeah. So they're two really, you know, it wasn't until later on through my experiences, I started to hear about this missing time. I still didn't resonate it. But later on, then I went, and once I had a knowing, then I knew when they were coming. I knew, you know, about missing time, and it was the effect they had on the consciousness. And I knew, yeah, so there's 2 for you, just for going, you know. But yeah.
Wow.
Now, in your experience earlier on, you know, you saw, I'm not saying, I'm speculating, just open up. It could be a possibility. You don't know. It doesn't have to be a grey or a reptilian or anything. Remember, you go places when you're in your dream state. You experience them. It's very common. The girls in the room will tell you they all experience this. They're at the side and they turn and they're not there. And then next day you're trying to recall and you can't recall what happened within 2 or 3 hours. It's common.
Wow.
It's very
so
common.
weird. Well, the reason I didn't really, I don't know if it was that or not, is because I have a lot of paranormal experiences. I had one 3 days ago right here. I was I just saw 2 figures standing there, and that's very common for me to see. When I say very common, I mean like
Yeah, yeah.
it happens once every like couple months or
Yeah,
happens
yeah,
a
it's
few times.
becoming normal. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's just what I thought it was.
Mm.
But then when I looked back and I still keep trying to remember what happened between
Yeah.
I assume it was just like if anything did happen, we were just laying there watching TV because that's what we were doing, just laying watch TV and just talking. And but just it's just not even
I
foggy
will
memories,
add
just
another
nothing.
thing for you. For me, experientially, and I've heard it from other contactees, and it's happening to as the contact is really starting to come closer to some of the guys in the group. Each time paranormal activity will increase around you. It's all interconnected between spirit, paranormal, supernatural, whatever you want to call it, and these entities, whether you want to call them ET or dimensional beings, it doesn't really matter. It increases, and the paranormal activity that starts to happen is because every time the vibration oscillation, and your consciousness is expanding, your conscious awareness is becoming the bigger and better version of itself each time. It follows that the reality that you were locked into Newtonian laws will shift. Everything shifts. You don't just become self-realized and you're in there going, I'm self-realized, and you're still in. No, it's not like that. The power, it will shift at the same time. That's how it works.
So I'm wondering, this is just speculation. When people like have like abduction experiences, maybe like it's not them being abducted, maybe it's like their astral body, and that's the reason like because my friend just was just like, oh yeah, we just talked or whatever, and I'm pretty sure he said he doesn't really remember it too much,
Yeah.
but what I'm assuming happened is it was like a forced like opening of your mind, and so when they popped up or whatever was gonna happen, my mind like rapidly expanded, so I just started seeing these things, and then also just I'm out.
It's very good. It's a very good description. I mean, everyone will, as I said, the orange analogy, everyone will articulate. Verbiage will be different, but what you're doing now, you're using discernment. You're trying to really, through introspection, and it can only happen in a conversation. So it's a good job you speak to Brandon. You can start looking at your personal experience. My experience cannot help you or tell you what happened. It can open a door, though, for you to go in, well, maybe, and you'll find what resonates with you. There's many cases where contacts happened and they're with someone and they either don't wake up or they have no knowledge of it. There's been a couple of people out, one sees a UFO and the other one says, I can't see it. So it's not uncommon for that as well. That's all I can say for that. But also, I know in my case, let's throw out another one. Many people have said that through I normally, for some unknown reason, it was in the past, not now, because now it's like complete remote viewing. I'm there with them. It's not the same because the contact modality has changed. But then the norm is it was in my bedroom since I was a kid. It was at the bottom of my bed, and it was. I would never use the word paralyzed ever. I had an awareness that they had done something with the frequency, because they used to call it, what's this word, oscillate, which I never knew what it meant at the time until I found out later. Then I would see them. I'd be the observer, but the physical body was asleep. But I wasn't part of the physical body. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Some people will say, oh, I was paralyzed.
Well, this is like sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Usually. If
you have that belief, or use, this is spell casting, or use that I've been paralyzed, that makes you a victim.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about perception. It's always about your perception. Like the orange, how you perceive it, how I perceive it. But I've never perceived it as paralyzed. Never. I was aware they had the physical energy body had become neutral, so it would not suffer. because an experience was about to happen. The same thing happens when you're in your sleep state, sweetie, and you go off astral projection and lucid dreaming.
Mhm.
But your body shut down before you go and do it. They sometimes come in and have to lower the frequency or whatever it's called. I have no fucking idea what it's called. Does that resonate with you now?
Yes, it does. And to touch up on it, I feel like with like the whole belief part, so like as a kid, I've always like I questioned religion at a pretty young age. Went to church. I always just found it boring. It didn't really interest me. Never really grabbed my attention. Nothing I learned there really was just like, yes, this is my purpose. So I just kind of like didn't really pay attention to it. And every time I've tried to, let's say, like lucid dream, I have this sense of rationality, that the part of me that wants to dive deep into it and make sense of it, which helps. When I lucid dream, when my mind tries to make sense of what happens in my lucid dreaming, it wakes me up.
Yeah.
And with astral projection, the times that I've tried it, every single time I feel like I'm like, okay, something might be happening, and my mind starts to rationalize it, and then I start to not believe it again, and then it go back down.
Yeah, it is. It's you can't stop thoughts and you can't stop the mind. Okay, people think you can, and you say, I'm self-realized. You're never going to stop a thought. You become the observer of the thoughts, and there's a technique. That's what I teach in the groups, where you in another group, it's where you become the observer of the thoughts, and don't connect with them. So the thoughts will still come in. You observe them. They come in, they go, and and then because once you lock on to that thought, then the story comes. You're back. Okay. And I say, and the most simplified way for me, I'm sure someone's got something simpler. Send the hate mail to Brandon Thomas, please. He's bigger than better than me. Is I say to, they say, well, you see them, they're coming. They just come in. I said, well, you become the observer. How? And a simple way that works for some, but not everybody. If you go into a shopping center, you call it a mall or something or whatever.
It depends on the kind of. A mall is usually just like a massive building with like just a ton of stores.
Yeah, that's it. Shopping center. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In the UK, that's a shopping center.
Well, we have shopping centers too. They're just independent stores. A mall is more of one place that holds a bunch of stores inside.
No, they're independent.
Shopping center is independent stores. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Can we not go into plantics of that? Right. When you go
call
in
them dodgems over there, Nick.
They do? Oh my God.
Oh, I'm going to bumper you off in a minute. Right. You go into a shopping center and all these people are coming. You don't put your attention on them. Hold on. And they just pass. Some are talking, you look, and you come back, you get on with your beeswax. And then you hear a conversation. I fucking hate how they get. And you, oh, yeah. Well, no, you come back and you keep going. Yeah. That's what you have to do with your thoughts. Let them come in. You don't try and stop your thoughts. But you will never have thoughts like Brandon Thomas, I'm telling you. But don't. So they'll come in. So next time you go and do that work in your astral or when you're trying whatever, allow them to come. Just observe them like you would some stranger in the shopping mall. That may work. I don't know. But it does work for a lot of people. And to keep the silence. And another thing is keep the breath circuit going. Breath focus. Go. If a thought comes and you get distracted, it doesn't matter. Go back on the breath. Back to the breath. And all right, here's another one. Are you ready for this? This is I love social experiments.
Yes.
Okay? So are you ready? Brandon,
I am.
You and don't fuck this up. I'm telling you. Right. How to get rid of thoughts temporarily. Are you ready?
Absolutely, I am.
I want you to listen to me carefully. I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
You may think it's lunacy, but I want you to humor me. I'm an elderly woman in a village. Okay? Be sweet.
Okay.
Here's the question. You ready?
Yeah.
Are you breathing?
Yes.
Nick, where did your attention go to find out if you were breathing?
My lungs.
Brandon?
I mean the breath, like itself.
Right,
So,
it's fine. It's
yeah.
fine. Right, it's fine. It's fine. Do you know how many people say to me, well, I'm breathing? Their mind comes straight in. Now, the reason of that exercise is you can try it now and verify it for yourself. I'm going to ask you again the same question, right? Are you ready? I do magic, Brandon, on the side, okay? Better than being a prostitute, though, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to come and ask you a question again. And then when you put your attention on the breath or the lungs or the heart area, I want you to keep your attention there. Ready? And don't come away from it. Just stay there as long as you can.
Okay.
Are you breathing?
What am I supposed to do after?
There you go. There's a thought. There's a thought. When you're in that stillness, no thought will come in for a period of time.
It was like a second, but it worked.
It works. It does work. I know it works. I was taught this and it works. And it works for millions of others. And what you need to do, and I used to do this years ago, I'd go home going, am I breathing? Because my fucking head. I mean, I was at university. I was crazy anyway. It doesn't really matter about academia. My mind wouldn't shut the fuck up. Yeah. And
Right.
someone taught me this technique, but you got to practice. And then for a period of time, you can hold it a bit longer. You'll never stop the thoughts. But what happens is you'll get into that stillness, 0 point, that the thoughts will come in and you'll focus exactly on your breath and you will ignore them. And that's all you need to get into the state of consciousness you choose to do. I'll send you the bill in the post, all right?
Oh, dang.
Oh, no, I'll send it to Brandon.
Okay, yeah. And the hate mail is.
Yeah, all to Brandon. Did you get that, Brandon? Did you get what I was saying? Did you feel it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these techniques are great. I love this kind of stuff because it's about mindfulness, and this is why, Nick, I think just little simple things like this will really help you be way more powerful in your lucid dreams. Like it's like basically like you have a skill here, and then you take it and you amplify your other skills here.
I mean, Nick, I'm a lazy person. I studied for many decades, and I'm sick of studying. I never read a book. I'm an audiobook, and I listen to audiobook. And I like things simple. And when through my process of self-realization, they kept saying years ago, it's so simple. And I'd go, fuck off, it's not fucking simple. And I really would do that. I was fuming. I was angry. Why do you keep saying it's so simple, so simple? And then when I got it, it was simple. So I still, even though through that, I still don't like researching anymore. I can't be asked. Do it now. Let's do it now. And I'd rather share with someone an easier way to access a meditation than sit there for 20 minutes visualizing.
Exactly.
All you need to do is go to who you are, your being.
Because if you can do it quickly, then why not just do it quickly?
You can. Those in self-realization go, they go in. Now I'll come back to the contact modality. When you master that, and once you get going, is contact modality, and I've checked with other experiences and it's changing for them. It used to be the normal nuts and bolts, normal seeing through the walls, out the window and all the rest of it, and on the slab and hybrid children and all of that stuff. Been there, done it and did it, and it's done now. Now it's, I think the image comes, I'm in. It's remote viewing. It's
wow.
So Newtonian laws have definitely gone out the window but I've had to do my work on the way, I'm still an arsehole. I still fuck up. I still annoy Brandon, and it's my job to do so.
He deserves it sometimes.
Now, he's put here to be my mirror. But trouble is, no matter what, he reminds me of my son. Little shit, but I love him too. Can't help it. So does that resonate with you? Maybe it might help you when you're laying down and you're trying to do your astral projection, or you will remember to do it in your dream as well.
Yes, I do try to think, like whenever I'm thinking about astral projection, see, like to be completely honest, I still have trouble, like, now, I don't know if it's like the exception, but like I feel like it's still not real because I haven't experienced it yet. And it's just, I mean, to be fair, it is crazy, to pop out of your body and go in there and do whatever you're wanting to do. It's a crazy thought, but I'm open to the idea, and I have to remind myself that I'm not going to get it first try. If I am going to get
That's
it,
a
it's not
belief
going to happen
system.
instantly.
No, here we go. No. There again, you've just blocked yourself with a belief system. I'm not going to get it first time. You've just blocked it. This is what the process is about. But I want to go back, where you have disbelief. Do you know, even me, with all my experiences, I still, and recently, I don't know jack shit. Even this morning, something else happened, and I went, is this true? Is it real? And I second guess. I'm still doing it. I'm still here, just about. I'm still doing it. I want to normalize that. Don't beat yourself up that you're second guessing and doubting. It's normal. We have been part of the program, or whatever you want to call this, is to come in. You didn't forget so much. Obviously, you're the third wave. Is to come in, amnesia, and work through it, and not to beat yourself up when you doubt it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All you need to go, okay, I've still got some self-doubt. Don't do what I did years ago. I want to see it for real, physically, right in front. Oh, fuck that. It just doesn't, you can't demand it. You got to go through the work. And so if you say, is it real? Is it not real? That's normal. I'm normalizing it. It's fine. I went through and still do it to this day. I can't believe that Brandon Thomas is real, actually. I think he's an AI with hair.
I don't dream. I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. Like, I'm on your side. I agree more with you on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
A super spiritual guy who doesn't have any spiritual experiences.
Yeah, I'm like a cool program. I'm the program here to help.
He just uses that as a marketing.
He's like an ad, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a more of an ET, whatever experiencer than most people. But it's just not the right time for him.
They don't let me remember because I'm a commander up there. I can't remember that here. It can't let me know that I'm running the shit. So
you're too powerful. They're like, they gotta make him forget.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
There is a serious thing to this though, Brandon, is because some people, some human beings are slot. Yeah, we're all going to have different perceptions and experience this time illusionary now differently. And there are some that they've chosen to come in and not, we call, through the dream state. They will awaken by another state, but they already have all the information. We all have the information. You don't have to go anywhere for the Akashic records, as they call it. You are it. You are it. And you're just going to pull that out whenever it's needed. And sometimes you can talk to someone, let's say I'm talking to Brandon, and do you understand the light bulb goes off? And then I go, fuck, I already knew that. Do you see what I'm saying? But some, like yourself, will go lucid dreaming and astral projecting off. And, it's just different perceptions of experiencing. We're just he's tasting it in a different way to you and me. So we're three different human beings having the same experience, however, totally different. But we can resonate. We resonate because we're aware of the connectivity, the entanglement of why it's happening. Does that resonate with you at all?
Yes, it does. And me and Brandon have talked about it before because I'm the way I am because of like my time spent at the ranch and like my open mind and like my knowledge on all of this and want for the knowledge. So all of that really sticks with me.
I do think the third waivers, obviously, they say we choose it. I really don't give a flying fuck. But, the third waivers have already picked their breadcrumbs. They're ahead. I'm going to go through this experience a bit of human life and restrictions and violence, and everyone thinks I'm mental and stupid. But I've got a breadcrumb, and it's called Brandon Thomas.
Come on.
And he's going to be the one. I've parted him there in advance. And then you put another breadcrumb, and she's called Gloria. And I thought, oh, fuck, yeah. And all your breadcrumbs are ahead for your journey where you're going to go. And you won't deviate from that journey. How does that resonate with you, Brandon?
Love it. you kind of plopped everything down here. You're like, all right, at mile marker 13, I'm going to, my aunt's going to marry this dude and it's just going to be super cool and awesome. And then I will really shift my trajectory, in life. And it's like these little things. And then to think you're separate from it is like the biggest illusion of all, because I love that concept of like spirit guides and stuff. And I'm more fascinated by the idea that it's you, future version of you, that's able to
I like that. Yes, Brandon.
Space and time and kind of.
This is where I have self-doubt. I meet these beings, yeah, and the big blue guy, I don't know if you can see him, that was a couple of weeks ago, and I painted him in 10 minutes. So he's like, what the fuck?
Could be just you in a costume, the equivalent of like a costume.
Yeah. And I was given the knowing, the awareness that is part of me, and it resonated like it's familiar. That's a big paradigm of what you call in America a mind fuck, not a mind fart. And you go, what? Boom. So I agree with Brandon. It's all us. And where sometimes, paradoxy comes in is because, like, I'm talking to you, I'm aware who you are, but you're playing your roles and we're interacting and we can get really deep. But then sometimes when it's from the observer effect and these beings come in and they are self-realized, they know who they are, they know how to play the game. You tend to get stuck with a paradox between the two. And is it real? And then you hear, what do you mean? Is it real? You've been talking to us, and is it called cognitive dissonance in your head? So I still go through that as the contact modality changes, because I have to change with it. Like you were saying about 4th, 5th, 6th, the science, universal laws or galactic laws now, maybe we're talking. I don't even know it's called the galactic. Who made that word up? I don't know what it's called. Did you make that word up? Galactic?
Yes.
I thought
you're welcome. I'm dropping it right here for all of you to use. You're welcome.
Damn, knew it.
Yeah, we're just going to blame him. Can we call him the Antichrist or something? But so
That'd be an understatement.
I've got to ask you now, sweetie pie. Firstly, you've been an amazing, brave young man.
Thank you.
Okay? And coming out because, not only will you put us old fogies to shame with your insights and discernment, but other young people that haven't, they want to hear they want the oldies telling them, they want to hear it from a young'un, because they can resonate. Thank you for that first. But what are your aspirations now? Where would you like to go? What's your excitement? What do you want to do?
Well, in terms of like a lot of people ask like, oh, what do you want to do with a job, education? To be honest, right, exactly, all that, I don't know. But for me personally and like my growth, my goal right now is one of the things I'm trying to cut out all like negativity from my life. I'm trying to like push away because if something's constant like around me and they're making me feel in a negative way, I don't want that. And I'm trying to just be a better person, just be more out there, be more, I guess, helping in ways, I guess. And I just want to be a better person, grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you're already your goal. You're already that person, that being already. And you just got to remember you are in every aspect of it, but you're already that. So, but I so resonate with you. It's like you have these friends and then all of a sudden they disappear because you just like, I'm not doing that shit no more. Do you know what I mean? And if sometimes if it's close family members and they're going on and hypochondria and I just switch, I go in and I become the observer, so I don't have a resistance. So because I've looked at why do I resist, and that's the work you need to do in yourself. So you keep doing what you're doing. Is there a field that you would like to get into? In
a field?
Yeah.
Well, you mean like what do you mean by field?
Lavender, tulip, like is there a field of flowers you'd like to go?
Do you know what? You little shit.
Nightshade.
Nightshade.
Deadly nightshade. I want to go
answer the question perfectly. Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to make you cups of tea and wine. No, a field in. Are you interested in astrology, astrophysics? I mean, I love neuroscience. One well, I went to university criminology, so I love, or astrophysics, quantum physics, or
I think it's more like psychology, not in like a school sense towards like wow, why do you get anxiety because of this? Help with this way. I just feel like the mind is very complex, and a lot of people undermine their ability to overcome certain things. And like like for me, like I work out and it gives me a better mindset and helps me push through certain things. And I just kind of try to help be like, hey, it doesn't have to be like that. I know you kind of feel trapped, but your mind can be stronger than you think it is.
I think you're going to be sort of like, should I get my psychic prowess on before he does? I think you'll end up, I don't know this to be true, I could be lying through my teeth, but at the moment, with the energy I'm in now, I can see you as you mature with what you already have. I can see you motivational. You'll be motivational. You've got the energy of a motivational, I don't want to say motivational speaker, but you will inspire. You really will inspire. And your energy is of such a sweetness, and, that people will pay you attention, and you'll just permeate. You'll go out and they won't have to practice jack shit. It will hit them. And I can see, no more, whatever field you go into. I mean, obviously, you're really going to go down the road of astral traveling, and you may be the third wave, and tell the first wave and the second wave that have wrote all their books. Sorry, love, it's this way now, because contact modality has changed. Every modality will change. It all has to go within the one. So I can just see you, I may not be around physically, but I'll be in the spirit world. I'll be tapping on your shoulder, going, go, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I need that motivation sometimes.
Yeah, I
can Brandon's only on a few years left, so I gotta.
Yeah, I can kick
I'll
up
hunt the shit out of you. Don't worry about it.
Brandon, I mean, don't be biased because he's your nephew. However, and I trust you. When you talk to this being and you've spoken to him, obviously in the holidays, and you've really got to know him, what do you see in him? What is it that really, it's obviously he's inspiring you, he's doing something to you. What do you see? Like I saw my way. What do you see in him?
Well, yeah, he's super inspirational. My wife and I we never even called him Nick while he was here. It was just Tony Robbins walking around. He would be like, "My hands are so big," and I'd be like,
"Oh, well, I got that right then, didn't I? I got that right then."
Yeah. No, he's got the spark. He's definitely got the light, and you can see it. Now, we have offered. Do this most tactful way possible. We've offered our home to a few family members, and he is the true one, like the one that we really, really, really enjoy spending time with. And it's just because of this spark, just because of his insight, because of his, curiosity, because of his willingness to participate. Like, we have a ranch, there's a lot of work that needs to get done out here.
Yeah.
And whenever he was out here this last time, we still haven't gotten rain for about 2 months now. And so, it's hot, it's dry, it's dusty, it's 105. And we're out there with chainsaws, and he's throwing things in the back of the truck with no shirt on. And, I let him drive the truck, and he's just got this willingness to just jump in no matter what and do it. And there's, a little bit of bitching, and we bitch together, and that's okay. But, for the huge, vast majority of it, like, he's just a delight to be around. And so that's how he can talk to anybody about anything. He's just one of the most chameleon type people I've ever met, but in the best way possible. He brings everyone's best out in them.
I get it. I mean, Lucy Price says, "Love your mindset, Nick." Christine says, "You did brilliant, Nick, and a great show as always."
I saw both of those when y'all put them down. I was smiling. Don't worry.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Brandon, aka Chris, is twin brother to Brandon. But it's. I mean, obviously, so we both see the same thing, so to speak, but I need to add something there. I'm going to totally digress. We here in the UK have a heat wave, and we're just under the 100, and we're going up to the 100, I think, in a couple of days. We've been holding it. And we are not, I used to travel a lot, North Africa, so I'm used to 40, and I know how to function in it. Just fucking go, ugh!
That's
anyway,
Celsius, Nick.
Yeah, just about it, and drink gallons of water.
You said what, Brandon?
It's Celsius.
Ah, Celsius.
Yeah. So
We
when
do.
she says 40 and it's like, oh, it's hot, and it's like, whoa, are you from Antarctica?
I
You
was
know,
sitting here and I was like, oh, really hot.
Well, I mean, tonight we're cooler. We've dropped to 23 Celsius tonight. The other night it was like 29, which is 30, and at night, and it was, but it's going to apparently could go up to the 40 plus Celsius. Which is
you looking up a translated thing? Yeah, I'm sitting here and I'm like, carry the two.
Yeah. No, I just say it's the UK way and my way. So when you're talking about the heat there, no rain. The other day, Nick, about 3 days ago,
77 degrees, Nick. That's hilarious. 25 degrees Celsius is 77 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh,
horrible.
man.
Oh, you poor thing.
gosh.
Did they even let you guys? Did they
You
even open
must-
the dodgems?
we
It's
are a
that
cold
hot. I didn't
country.
see the whole thing, you know?
we are not used
The
to
what?
heat.
The dodgems.
We live in a monochrome universe here. We're not used to heat waves. I don't mind the sun. I love it. I'm just saying. But this is so our bodies are not used to what you're used to. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
we people
Personally.
die in this country because of it. The elderly die.
Mhm.
They die because and the other day, 3 days ago, I think it was, there was a tiny little rain shower. And I stood out in the back garden. Just in my clothes.
It's so funny you say this. So we haven't had rain in months, and we're just like, Nick, we've been bitching about it for a while here. But yesterday we go outside. It was supposed to rain. We had 32% chance, the highest percent chance that we've had ever. And Nick just recently learned this. 20% doesn't mean like 20% chance of rain. It's 20% of the area will get rain, right?
Makes so much more sense.
We're like 32%. We'll take it. Oh my God, we haven't gotten these great odds in forever. Like I said, super hot, dusty. It was 107 yesterday. It's been over 100 for about a month now straight. Anyway, so that's like 8,000 negative degrees in Celsius, by the way, Gloria, just so you know. And so the storms came in yesterday, and all of a sudden it was like wind was blowing like crazy. I mean, it looked like dune out there. It was like all dust. We got dusty all over the place. Animals are pumped. The temperature dropped like 20 degrees. We could see storms all the way around us, and it went all the way around. So everyone around us got rain except for I was like, get the fuck.
I made that joke right before I left that would happen.
I heard thunder.
Love it.
Thunder all around. It was windy as hell. It was knocking stuff over. We lost a huge tree branch, but no rain.
Serves
the
you
tree
right.
branch fell off because the tree
Serves you right for bitching.
Dying from
Serves you right for bitching. Serves you right. Do you know what happened to me, Nick? I got to share this. It just reminded me about weird weather anomalies. It's a big word. It was a couple of months ago, and we had another bit of a heat wave. We're just heating up over here. We're just frying. Don't worry about us. And it was a sunny day. It was wonderful. And I was with someone, friends in the garden, and they went, "It's snowing." I'm just like, fuck off, It was sun. It was like sun, burning. That's why I'm so brown, because we got hot weather. And they said, "No, it's snow." And I said, "Where?" And then it looked like snow, and it was falling on my gut in my garden. And of course I went, "You sure that's not blown in from a crematorium?"
Oh God.
This is where self-doubt, Nick. Self-doubt. Okay. And me, self-doubt, yeah. And then I don't know, where's the nearest crematorium? Maybe they've tried to escape through the chimney, and it's like too far. And I looked again, and it looked like miniature snowflakes, teeny weeny, and it was just coming down. It lasted for, I don't know, maybe minutes, and then it just totally disappeared.
Did you sample any of it? Did you take any of it?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
but I'm going to tell you something. No, I didn't either.
There's all that weird stuff falling from the sky that's not snow, and it's
after that event, I was going to say, after that event, I had contact.
Oh, there you go. See, it's like the simulation's broken right now, and it's very interesting. I think all the timelines are collapsing into one, and so we're just going to keep seeing more and bizarre stuff.
So I've got an agenda. Hold on, that's a true story. So Brandon's reason I've shared this is because Brandon shared about all the rain clouds, and everyone got rain, and right in little old me, Brandon, in the middle, something stopped the rain. You didn't get. Who knows?
Whether it was the hex Nick put on the place when he left.
I think it was just like do the dandruff skydiving.
Well, I still think it could have been. I did have contact, but I think it really could have been the crematorium must have, boofed up a bit.
Or a volcano, or just the simulations broke.
Yes,
You know what,
a volcano in the UK.
Volcanoes over here. But not,
You might. You have miniature snowflakes. I don't know. Who knows?
no, we have
I don't know.
leprechauns. We have leprechauns over here. Okay.
There you go.
We have leprechauns, and the Fae are here, and the giants are here, and and all the rest are here actually, and the ETs are here, and everyone you can think of is here. But yeah, anyway, I digress. But I wanted to share that, and for you, Nick, to know that later on I realised it was a phenomenon. Yeah, part of what happens where the physics break down. But I still second guess myself.
I mean, I think anyone would. That is kind of weird. It's like heat lightning. You ever seen heat lightning?
No, what's that?
Maybe not. It's just like
it's American terminology, and I will understand in a minute.
No,
maybe
this is something totally new. What do you got?
Oh, you don't know it either. Well,
you don't know, Brandon. You don't know.
I was shocked.
I know.
It's happened to me once, and I had to look it up to see what it was. It was just a really, really dry, hot day, no clouds in the sky, maybe like a few scattered, fresh out of school. So it's like 3 p.m. Sun's right above me. I'm walking home, sweating, and then corner of my eye, I see boom, and I'm like, whoa. And it was just a flight. I saw the lightning dart across the sky. Thunder followed, and I went home and looked it up. It was like, oh yeah, when it's really hot outside and dry, static electricity balls up and just lets loose.
Oh my God, shit! Because we just had a warning. I saw it today when I went on my phone because it's going to go right up into the 40s. There's going to be electrical. Is it electrical? It's going to.
I think it was static electricity, something like that.
Yeah, we've
Now,
just
to be fair,
41
over there is 107.
It's too hot for the UK
so
people.
40
So average Texas and
I mean
Tennessee weather. Yeah,
40 is 104.
Gosh.
But we're not used to it here. I like 23 degrees. I lay in the sun. I can do my garden. I go out. And as long as there's a breeze.
Yeah, 73 degrees. Yeah, we all like that.
Exactly.
That's optimal human temperature.
I feel like 75-ish.
Have you guys
73 is like close to 60.
Yeah, there you go. Have you guys ever thought about how weird it is that external temperature never like changes your internal temperature, like no matter what, you know what I mean? Unless you get wet or like there's extreme circumstances, but even just being out in 104 degree weather every now and then, your body will say 99. It's really weird.
That is so odd.
It is, but I mean, I go brown as soon as the sun comes out. I just turn brown immediately. I'm blonde-haired and blue-eyed. I just go brown. So
Irish,
I'm lucky. It does affect my skin color, but my body temperature. You're quite right. See, there's a thought. I've never thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, you can walk outside, and you bundle for comfort, but really, like your body is 99 degrees inside, no matter what it's, exposed to. And your organs have to maintain this very optimum heat range, very small window of heat range, by the way, to just
do it very well.
Like you can walk outside in 70 degree weather and you're fine, but if your insides were 70 degrees, you would die. It's just weird.
I
know. That's what I bring too. You're welcome.
Yeah, you bring such things to the table that are.
Yeah. I want to ask, I mean, because we're about to wrap it up here, but what's on the moon? Donna wants to know what's on the moon, and I'd love to talk about that. And thank you guys all for your sweet comments.
No, right. Awesome. Now, Donna, you are you're going to get... No,
Nick,
Donna,
on the moon,
no.
Dude?
No,
You already know my answer.
What is that?
It's fake.
It's fake, right? Very good,
Donna, no, what it is...
Moon's fake, Donna.
It's. I don't believe that, personally.
Well, no, she's not asking the question for an answer. She's asking the question because you wait. I'll give you ha. I had a couple of experiences on the dark side of the moon through my journeys, and I've chosen not to share with the group I teach because
your experiences are why we call it the dark side. Ooh.
Yeah, because I don't want to put preconceived ideas in their head.
Oh, that's smart.
Something
actually,
I do want to ask Donna about and y'all about is what orientation is the moon? Like, what's really interesting about her question is because it's fascinating, but what's even more interesting is your observation of the moon. If you guys will look at it now, it's rising differently and setting differently, but also it's tilted. If you guys notice it, it has shifted. So just go out and check out the moon and see what you think.
Yeah, go and do that, Donna, because I'm not going to answer it. But Nick, I don't. There's many questions they ask me as an experiencer in that. and I don't want to put preconceived ideas in their head or them to take on my belief system, because that's what their experience, and they need to have their own personal experience. So I limit myself. The only time I share something, and she's been going on for the past year, tell us about the moon, and she's done it on my live chat. You wait to Wednesday night, you're so dead. You're going to be face planted on the internet.
Isn't the moon self-illuminating? It's not a reflection from the sun, because moonlight is like shade is warmer than moonlight directly. So if you measure those two temperatures of anything in shade at night and anything in the moonlight is actually colder. So what's going on with that?
I'm not saying jack.
You didn't ask when you were up there? That would have been the first damn question I asked. Like, is this a self-illuminating thing? Is this a like hollowed out planetoid?
Please.
I feel like
trap for archons. What are we talking about? That's what I would want to
maybe it's like as the moon's rotating, like the sunlight that's hitting it as it's turning, the colder, the darker side is still fresh from being illuminated. It's like a pool when your pool is slowly warmed up.
The moon,
It doesn't
locked. That's
Oh,
why
it
we
doesn't
see the same side all the time.
Oh,
yeah. Well,
moon-
they
I
say
didn't
that
know
it
about-
rotates exactly with the Earth's spin once every 24 hours, but we never get to see it because it's doing it on the other side.
Yeah,
But no one has seen the other side of the moon. It's silly.
you know what? That makes sense.
And yet it's blue, during the day. Like it more absorbs blue light, than black from the sun. I mean,
so
like
odd.
the
darker
answer to
side
your
of the
question
moon
could
is
be,
hidden
but
from
it's not
Earth's
real.
sight.
I don't
All
know.
the time. All
It's
the
not
time.
real. Maybe it's like a luminary, that's just up there. It's like Set and the sun and Set. Egyptians had that, and like Set was a dark object in the sky or whatever, and so maybe it's like a literal thing, and so it's two heavenly bodies rather than planetary bodies. Like it's just a different thing. Maybe I'm just saying that it might be cool.
I mean, it's always good to speculate, but and they're having fun in the chat now. Don't send me a kiss with a heart on it. It's too late. You've done the damage.
Now it's for me, actually, Gloria. So.
Oh, was it, darling?
Don't flatter yourself.
Thank you, Donna. Mwah.
I love his humility. One thing about Brandon, his modesty and humility is overwhelming. Right,
I'm humble, not modest.
To the loo in a minute, and we don't want to keep the oldie Brandon up. I have to say, it's been a privilege.
Take a nap.
To meet you, Nick. It's a privilege to meet you. Honestly.
Thank you so much.
And I would like to invite you onto Open Minds down the line. Okay, my other show. If you want to bring Nick along because you feel sorry for him, please bring him. And but what I would like to do is also the topic you would like to discuss. What really, and today we've done everything to introduce you to my audience and introduce you to me. And thank you. You've got a place in my heart. But you've got, what you want to talk. So if you want to do a discussion on just astral protection or lucid dreaming or something else, and you decide what you would like to talk about and present to me, okay? Your truth. We're going to get you on the platform to motivational, inspire, and speak, and a picture of yourself, and get Brandon to write you a bio. Okay, get him to do something. He sits there all day and does nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Every time I walk in there, he's just like, "Oh, hey, I'm just."
I thought. Do you know what? I'm so with you. I hear you, Nick. I can imagine. But I hope, would you accept that if you come back? It'll be August time because I'm fully booked on the other show.
Okay.
All the way down. I'd love to. I'll send Brandon a message later in a messenger, and I'd love to have you back. If you want to come by yourself, you can. But Brandon, you're more than welcome, sweetie pie. I love talking to you. He is the only guest I keep bringing back on my show. He's like the
boomerang.
You know what? He's the prodigal son that keeps coming back and back and back.
Just more and more annoying each time.
I'm like the undercover boss. I'm here just to kind of explore the simulation. I created all this. I'm just here to explore it and see what's going on. That's all.
That's
a blast. So thank you.
He calls them weird names. I call them walk-ins. These what would you call them over there? IPSs or whatever.
NPCs. It's it's a reference to just gaming.
Oh,
yeah.
Non-player character.
Non-player character.
That's it. Non-player. And at the moment he's going to be a non-player character if he doesn't stop. All right. But thank you, and Brandon, thank you for taking the time out.
Yeah.
And for bringing Nick onto the show. It's been a blast, and it's been an honor, and it's been a privilege. to talk to someone as inspiring and as lovely as you. You're just lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much indeed. You do know, everybody, when I end this live broadcast, everyone's going to run to the toilet.
Actually, I'm good. I don't know how.
I need to pee so bad.
I did say to you, if you needed the loo, just go. And Brandon, what do you call it out there? You call it a potty break, don't you?
The shitter.
No, you don't call it the shitter.
Yeah, we all call it the shitter in America.
And all the northern parts, they call it the duker. It's really weird.
Duker. There you go.
Over here, if you say I'm going on the potty, that's what we put babies on. It's a little baby loo on the floor.
Potty is usually like a term used in more childish connotation.
Right.
Bathroom is just the more
we don't. I never would say I'm going to the shitter. That is common.
Poop closet.
I don't think I have ever said that.
Yeah.
No, please don't ever talk like that. That is just so naughty of Brandon. Lead as an example, young man, Brandon. You know,
I will always take that opportunity.
Right, everybody, thank you for watching live open. No, we're not. We're Inception. It's my other show. Thank you. Rewind. I had a brain fart. How about that?
Together.
Everyone has to get one.
Thanks for listening and hanging out, everybody. Nick, I love you.
Oh, yeah, it's been so fun.
Gloria, I love you.
Thank you for having on me.
Oh, I love you both
Having
dearly.
me on.
And to my audience, thank you for watching these guys. I'm lost now. Thank you for watching Inception Live. I'm Gloria. Until the next time we meet. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.